Welcome back to Law Call. We are talking about family law. You have Ted Howell from Perry & Young with the wonderful Rob Boyette to help me with all things family law. Right before the break, we got a caller before we could take them. So, Stephanie, if you would proceed with your question, please.
I wanted to know if he's entitled. When I file for divorce, is he entitled? What's he entitled to? Like when he's the one that just up and left.
I got you. So Stephanie's question is kind of piggybacking off of something you discussed briefly earlier.
Yeah.
He has obviously left. He's the one wanting the divorce. What impact, if any, does that have on the division of the assets?
Well, Stephanie, unfortunately, just because he left doesn't mean he's not entitled to anything. Now, he also has to ask for it, but as far as entitlements go, and I don't know if entitlement's the right word for it, but essentially, Florida's an equitable distribution state. So even if you go through the process of filing a divorce, getting him defaulted and everything else, a judge is not going to screw one person over one way or the other. They're going to try to make it as equitable as possible. And when I hear entitlements, I kind of think about retirement. Retirement, it also depends on how long you guys have been married, but retirement's usually the one that comes up, especially if one's military or not. But there's, each party is entitled to half the other party's entitled to retirement. Things of that nature. If there's a house, you got to figure out if the house was bought, while you guys were married. It's a marital asset, and it has to be divided.
Right. The one kind of caveat I know that I've seen come up is with inherited assets, and if they're segregated and not commingled.
Correct. Yeah. If there's an inheritance and it's put into a different or separate bank account. But you could even pass it down though and buy something with that becomes marital later if you're not careful.
Commingle it.
Yeah.
So just for everybody out there, if you're giving property away to family members, understand that it could become some other family's property if you don't put proper strings attached to it. So if you're doing anything of substance, make sure you're talking to estate planning attorneys and doing that properly. Right.
And the one thing I would tell Stephanie is if he's gone, he's gone, I would go ahead and start the process.
Right.
Go ahead and file for divorce.
So that we also, because something else that gets equitably divided is the debts. So until you have that data separation, you could potentially be putting yourself on the hook for things, potentially. So it's better to go ahead and sever that if it's to the point where it's past reconciliation.
That is correct.